With the latest Hero Pass update, Jagex is finally talking about progression balances. But is it enough? Let's find out, so whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're at a point with Hero Pass where it doesn't have pay-to-win content buffs anymore, and you can no longer pay to skip it, but it still takes unfathomably long to complete. So what is Jagex doing about that? The first proposed change is to change the Hero Pass, to which point every level leading up to 120 requires 1000 progress points each, reducing the total progress required to complete it by 25%. Additionally, they're increasing the total hero points awarded for daily missions from 125 points per mission to 350. This is a 180% buff. Additionally, the weekly hero point missions that expire every single week will provide 2000 points per completion instead of 1250, aligning them with the reward points of weekly general missions, you know, the ones that do not expire. Just to be clear, the weekly hero point missions will still expire every single week. Now, these changes are fairly significant, as if this was the case from the start, you'd be able to complete the Hero Pass simply by doing your daily and weekly missions. Of course, we're weeks from its release now, so that's not going to happen, but we'll get to that in just a bit. They are also reducing the time it takes to complete your daily missions from 40 minutes down to 30 minutes, or 15 if you're using the spotlighted skill. It's worth noting that the first daily mission, so the one that takes approximately 9 minutes to complete, gives you all the XP lamps and treasure hunter key rewards. This is a change acting as a placeholder until Jagex reintroduces, aka returns, daily challenges somewhere in October. The final proposed change is a reduction in required time to complete the weekly hero point missions. Again, to be clear, these are the ones that expire, from 7 hours down to 2. Now, to provide you all a little bit more context, this is how long it takes you to complete a weekly hero point mission doing different tasks. The mission requires you to collect 2,500 hero points, which, unless you're doing the most optimal method, which would be to AFK a boss with low HP, this will take you over 10 hours. I'm going to assume that Jagex took the average of skilling, combat, and a couple of other methods and said 7 hours. 7 times 0.2858 is 2, so if we times 2,500 by 0.2858, the new weekly mission will be approximately 715 hero points, and take you this long to complete per type of activity. According to Jagex, these balancing changes bring the time to complete the Hero Pass down to 40 hours, depending on how many missions you complete. I'm not sure how they did the math, but that's probably true if you complete every single mission. The thing is, I don't think most players are going to be finishing this Hero Pass by completing every single mission. It's just not a normal way of completing this thing. Another example, according to Jagex, if you only play Runescape every other day or so for about an hour each time, which is, according to them, what most players at least do every single day on average, but you complete all the special missions, you'll reach level 120 without needing to go out of your way to grind hero points. I can confirm that this is in fact true, even if you start from 0 today, as you have 73 days left. So 73 hours of gameplay, and you'd get a bunch of points from dailies because you're always going to be completing them, and from those expiring weeklies, which would only take you, let's say, 3 hours a week. The only issue is that you may not be interested in completing all of these special missions. So what if you just want to play the game your way, basically just skilling or bossing? Well, if you're playing an hour every single day from this point on, you're starting at 0, so 73 hours of play, you'd be able to complete every single daily and expiring weekly from this point on, and in total you'd get around 114,000 points, which is just 6,000 points shy of completing the entire thing. If you were to do the optimal route, which is AFK bossing, or just do a little bit of bossing in between, you will definitely be able to complete the Hero Pass without needing to force yourself to do the special missions or the weekly general missions, which usually require you to do a certain bit of content. This in essence means that pretty much every player playing an hour every single day from this point on, assuming you're claiming your daily mission rewards every single day, is going to be able to complete Hero Pass. But let's assume a different player scenario. Let's say you don't want to do any specific content, you just want to do your own thing and ignore Hero Pass essentially, but you still kind of want to complete it. You don't have any time during the weekend, you're only able to play on weekends, so on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but you are able to play 3 hours per day. Well, in this case, you're able to gain more points from gameplay and the exact same points from weeklies because you're completing them every single week by playing 9 hours per week, which is 2 hours more than the player playing 1 hour per day, but you are getting far less points from daily missions as you're only able to get 3 of these done every single week. I would like to remind you all that Hero Pass was supposed to reduce daily escape, but as this basic calculation proves, logging in daily is faster than playing 3 hours a day, 3 days per week. What's that? Is that Does that engagement number go up? Sorry guys, I think the shareholders just got a hold of the microphone, which wasn't intended. So yeah, in this example, playing 2 hours less per week gets you 31 to 45% more progress because you're playing every single day. Not being able to claim daily missions a day after, even though you've completed them, is toxic design, and not being able to save up your daily missions is just FOMO to increase engagement numbers. Come on, Jagex. This should have at least been part of this week's proposals, and I would hate to have to wait another week for them to just propose this before adding it into the game. Come on, man. It's time to start changing Hero Pass now. If you aren't changing it now, every single day that players don't have these increased progression speeds is going to take them more and more time overall to complete it. It's just nerf it now, and if you need to nerf it a bit more if it isn't enough, you can do that next week. You don't need to wait if the response is positive or not, because we've already said... everyone's already been so negative. Come on. If the changes are so simple, just do it now, and if it really is too harsh of a nerf and people are like, oh, this is too easy now, then buff it up a bit. But I don't think anyone's going to be like, yeah, this Hero Pass is too easy to complete now. It still takes a lot of time to complete and kind of requires you to log in every single day. I absolutely adore the amount of communication we're getting from you, Jagex. I really do. But you're burning my feet right now, and I don't want to hear you talking about how you're going to possibly cool it with an ice bath. I want the ice bath now. If I end up getting cold or maybe even hypothermia, just give me a blanket and some tea, and that will be fine. I especially want the tea, by the way. Also, hold on a second. Is the balancing for all future Hero Passes? Not necessarily. What? What future Hero Passes should look like is something we'll explore more with you during the Consolation. I'm assuming for a second, okay, that this means that future Hero Passes are going to be at least this much better, and if not more better. If it means that we're going to go back to the beginning, then more people are just going to quit, and the game is just going to be so much worse off. From the Consolation news post, the plan seems to be to get together a bunch of different types of players from big Discord and Reddit communities, content creators, and player moderators to assist the developers to make sure things are released as best as they can in the future. This honestly sounds very promising, but will very much depend on what that invited to work closely with development actually means in reality. Either way, I think it's a good idea if they actually listen. It's worth noting that Jagex is going to send out a Hero Pass survey to all players soon, which will allow them to gather direct feedback instead of needing to dig through the social platform. Again, I want to commend Jagex's communication on this topic, but it's time for some action. Or should I say, more action, because they did already change some things. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.